I'm Wilson Lai, and you're listening to Deep Cut. On Deep Cut, we compare a director's most popular film with a personal favorite chosen by one of us. We also discuss that director's life and career to bring in context that helps us view their movies as they may want us to. If you're enjoying the show, please rate and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts to help others discover the show. Better still, leave a review on Apple Podcasts or comment on episodes directly on Spotify. If you've seen this film, let me know what you think. If you'd like to share a message with us, feel free to drop us an email at hello@deepcutpod.com. You can also find us at deepcutpod.com to find links to our socials, Discord, and Patreon. Welcome to our second episode in our series on HKIFF interviews I conducted this year. And this one is a big one. I was very, very lucky to be able to sit down with director Ildikó Enyedi, who is presenting her latest film, Silent Friend, at the festival this year. Later on, in that same day where I interviewed Ildikó Enyedi, I was attending the press meet for the red carpet event for Silent Friend. And I also was able to interview Tony Leung. If you follow our Instagram or know me at all, you probably have seen that video of me interviewing him. But if you haven't, this episode is a perfect chance for you to hear Tony's own thoughts about directors he wanted to work with, as well as his relationship to plants, which is so crucial in this film, as it is set in a German university, and arguably the film's main character is this ginkgo tree that is on the university campus, and it spans multiple decades, talking about three separate stories of humans and their relationship with trees and with plants. It was a really fascinating movie, and I think my conversation with Enyedi was really enlightening. I got to talk to her about her relationship with plants and also threading together the different storylines, the three different storylines and time periods in this film. Special thanks to Ildikó Enyedi, Tony Leung, as well as Rainey Tao and Polly Chen from the HKIFF team, and Felix Tsang from the Golden Scene team for your help with this interview. Without further ado, this is my interview with director Ildikó Enyedi. Thank you so much. I'm here with director Ildikó Enyedi, who's presenting her film Silent Friend at the Hong Kong International Film Festival. I first want to ask, what is your feeling of being at this year's festival presenting this film, especially with a star like Tony Leung in it?
Oh my God. I was in Hong Kong Film Festival the first time more than 25 years ago.
Wow.
And I fell in love with the town immediately. I don't know why. Somehow the intellectual vibe, the intensity was so strong. So it's not just the beautiful nature, it's the people. If someone says then to me that I will return here with a film with the amazing, and very, very special Tony Leung, I would have said, no way. So it is perhaps the most special visit with this film, where, of course, we travel all around the world.
Yeah. So let's just start with that. How did Tony come to be in your film? Were you already envisioning him as Dr. Wong in your mind when you were writing it? Or was this something that happened after you wrote the script?
I wrote this role for him.
Wow.
But I had no contact to him. And there was not a real chance to have him in this rather small-scale European author film. Mm-hmm. So I remember that my producers tried to offer me other actors because they said that he generally says no if ever he answers. So I'm actually very thankful to William Chung. I think I can tell his name. Who saw on Body and Soul, liked the film, and because they are good friends. When Tony said to him that this weird script arrived from Europe, where the protagonist is a tree, and his partner, he has to play with a tree, then William Chung was very, very supportive.
Wow.
And then, of course, Tony watched my films, and it seems that he liked them.
Yeah, that's great. I also have it on record. I'm not sure if I can say it on microphone, but I know that Johnny To has said that On Body and Soul is one of his favorite films of the recent few years.
Wow, it's great to know because we were together in Tokyo.
Really?
And in the jury in Tokyo Film Festival. He never said that to me.
Well, he said it to other people.
It's always better than the inverse.
So yeah, let's talk about Silent Friend. And I watched it yesterday and I really, really loved it. And I was particularly fascinated by, I guess, your own directorial fascination with trees. And I want to ask you, what began your interest in making something about the world of trees and plants?
You know, it always interested me from my teenage years. The world of other people, of other culture, of the modern human world, animals, plants. I read about the early researchers about plant communication, how they help each other, how they communicate with each other. Of course, in the 70s, when I was a teenager, these experiments were very basic and a bit naive, a bit new agey. Nevertheless, it acknowledged that there are also other truths, other lives than our human world and human perception.
So let's talk about this experimentation, because I found it quite interesting that you chose to set this film in the world of universities, of academia, of scientists conducting these experiments. What was the thinking behind taking that route to tell this story between people's relationships with plants?
You know, university, it is told in its name. For hundreds of years, it was a hub of free exploring and free discovery, and where you could follow your passion for your curiosity and go deep in that. On one side, the freedom and the independence of scientific work, scientific research is questioned today in many parts of the world. And on the other side, it is not really acknowledged, the value of it. And I think it is one of the most beautiful aspects of humanity, just to give the peace and the shelter for those people who, we can say with a childish passion, they explore the unknown. So this is a bit also for those peoples who are working in the old sense of academia, of university, and just to draw attention to the beauty and to the importance of that sort of free-flying imagination, what was once a university hub for.
Yeah. I wonder also about, you set this film over 3 different time periods or 3 different stories. And they you intercut between, you move between the different storylines. And I was wondering if this was your intention from the beginning, or when you were writing it, you found that, okay, maybe I want to branch out and tell a different story and then move back to, the different.
The starting point was how to bring closer, how to evoke the perception of a, from us, very, very different being. For a tree, we are very exotic, very hectic little beings, short-living beings. For us, where we perceive silence, where we perceive immobility, it is just because of the limits of our senses. So somehow I try to bring close with different methods the perception of a plant, of a tree. And the tree is a long-living creature. So in the pace of a feature film, you can show it by showing samples from this long life. And it was very important to not have a connection between the human heroes of the film, but to have a very sensual connection, which ties all these periods together in a rather musical way. You can't write it in that way, because if you write it in advance, I will glide from one time to the other, here and there. On paper, you can define it only in a dramaturgical way, connected to the plot. And we are storytelling animals.
Yes.
A tree is not a storytelling being. So I had to draw attention of the spectator to other aspects of us, not the storytelling hunger, but rather giving perceptual, sensual experiences.
Yeah, it's fascinating because the film doesn't have that strong of a narrative drive, right? It's dreamlike in that way. And I do think you have maybe a link there between this and the sort of psychedelic marijuana, like the stuff that the characters use maybe to get closer to thinking like a tree or being in that headspace. What do you see the connection there is between, because Dr. Wong uses mescaline, your characters smoke weed next to the tree, and there is a connection that you want to establish between a different state of mind with a tree's mind.
Well, certain psychedelics are used from prehistoric ages. In cave paintings, they found signs of being in a psychedelic state while making them. It is considered a very special state, but in fact, it's quite a normal state, very similar to how we all started when we were babies, which is a very natural feeling of being a part of a bigger texture and not being separated and not being in control and not being not being different. And it's a very pleasant state, yes.
Yes, I agree.
It perhaps helps us as well not to destroy it, what we are an inherent part of.
Yeah. Was there some sort of, when you're talking about not destroying it, was there some sort of like ecological preservation intention with you making this film for us to maybe treasure the trees around us? Or
well, this is not a militant film, but of course, by bringing closer the beauty, the richness of nature, and to make people aware that these are not objects.
Yeah.
it helps to to pay a bit more attention.
Yeah, it's a powerful film in that way. Let's maybe shift gears to maybe talking about more of the process of filmmaking. I want to hear about how the shoot went. Like, how did you shoot each story separately from each other, and what was that like making this film?
Actually, the main storyline, if we can speak of storyline, it is the friendship of the old tree and Professor Monk, which starts in the winter, goes through the spring, and arrives to early summer because it follows the 2020
COVID, yeah.
the first COVID wave. Well, at least in Europe, we all went through the phases of spring when we were closed, but nature was awaking and trees started to bloom, etc. This was the first storyline, what we shot, because of the nature in chronology, really. Actually, our very first shooting day was when Professor Monk discovers the tree. So the team discovered the tree together.
Yes.
And then we tried to keep the two other storylines as much as possible in one chunk, but it wasn't always possible. So our cinematographer had sometimes to use a 60 millimeter camera, then a 35, then the digital, then jump back to the 16, which wasn't very easy task. It was a very enjoyable feeling to work again with 16. I think for many years, we haven't used 16 and to rediscover it. But yeah, there were some tricky days.
Mm-hmm, I'm sure. Speaking of casting, we talked about casting Tony Leung at the start of our interview, but I want to ask about casting this ginkgo tree, because it is, you said it's a two-hander. It's a relationship between this man and this tree. And the tree itself is so magnificent in this film. And also the details about this tree, it being the only female in that place. First of all, how did you cast this tree? And second of all, are these things about the tree true, or did you have to sort of fabricate some other things to make this more a compelling tree?
Well, first of all, there are 3 trees, and it's very interesting that you are not the first one who is surprised. And I am so surprised that people are surprised. Because if you see the tree with Greta,
yes,
and also in the front of Professor Wong, when he looks at the photo with Greta and the tree,
yes,
the trunk is, let's say, 70 centimeter wide,
right,
not more.
Right. I thought you traveled back in time and then had the tree grow.
Yeah, somehow you imagine those magicians which make a tree grow so quickly. No, we had to find 3 different sizes and of ginkgos of the same type, because there are, let's say, there were once many different ginkgos, but as they were nearly extinct 6 million years ago, 2 types and one race remained. And we were lucky to find 3 with the same shape, more or less, with one branch nearly horizontal, quite low. So for us, it was evident that the people will see that these are 3 trees. It's growing, but yeah, you are not the first one who is surprised.
So immersive, that's why. I want to ask you, if this is audience members' first film of yours that they're discovering and they're watching, what films of yours would you recommend for them to watch next after watching Silent Friend?
first of all, before watching a Silent Friend, if you hear that, yeah, it's a European author film, there is a tree, oh my God, it will be boring. And Tony was so sweet to tell me that his friends, when they saw the film, they said, and of course to him, they could be sincere. They said, we were prepared to something very boring. It's not, actually.
Yeah.
They were genuinely surprised. There is also humor in the film, which is a really important part of it. And it really wants to bring close a word, which is, in my opinion, interesting. On Body and Soul was also very approachable.
Yes. Fantastic film, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. It was made with passion as well. In some months, there will be a film, Simon the Magician, what I shot in Paris a bit more than 20 years ago, which will be re-released. And who wants to discover? It was actually presented here in
when
in
you
the
were
festival.
here back then. Wow.
Yeah. And I remember the very, very warm response from the audience. So who knows, perhaps a new generation can discover that as well.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that. And I think we have a little bit more time, so I'm going to ask a couple more questions. But what do you feel like your exploration or your interest in trees and plants and our communication with plants is over? Do you feel like you've concluded this in your film, or is this sort of an ongoing thing that you want to continue to express with your films?
You know, I could have chosen even grass or moss, whatever. I chose a tree because in cinema, humans, they need heroes. This magnificent tree can bring us closer to this world more easily, perhaps. I continue to be fascinated by the multitudes of words, the multitudes of truth, parallel and equally valid truth. But, you know, every film for me is a new adventure. It is a good pretext to make some research, to get closer to a word what previously I wasn't so close to. Neuroscience interests me as well for decades. So who knows?
So you don't have something else cooking at this moment?
There is.
Okay. But
there are humans in it.
That's exciting. Something to look forward to. So last question. Our podcast is called Deep Cut, and we try to spotlight lesser known films or lesser known directors. So for our listeners, do you have a recommendation, a deep cut, underseen film or filmmaker that you suggest they check out?
Wow, it's a surprise question. I speak a bit about a Hungarian filmmaker, Zsófia Szilágyi, who made her first film called One Day some years ago. The film won the Press Prize in Cannes. It was made from peanuts, from nothing. And it is doing something very special. It tells one day of the life of a mother with 3 little children. And it is super simple what she's doing. She's just very methodically shows everything what has to be done from the moment you wake up the children, you bring them to kindergarten and elementary school, and so on and so on and so on.
Sounds very like Ackerman.
Yes,
Chantal.
very much, but somehow more fuzzy, more down to earth. There is not this slight elevation what you have in Ackerman.
Yeah.
And she doesn't leave out anything, the so-called boring things. So every child had 2 feet. It means 2 socks. And you don't jump one sock. No, you have to show both of them to put on the little feet and so on. And it is a very, very heartbreaking, very passionate film, because while just going through this one day, her life is just crumbling. An extremely powerful, beautiful, down to earth, and in the same time, very, very strongly artistic film.
Incredible recommendation. Thank you so much, Director Enyedi, for joining me today for this interview.
Thank you.
I'm here with Tony Leung, the star of this year's film Silent Friend. Can you say any directors that you hope to work with that you haven't worked with yet?
Because I never planned, so I want to work with a lot of directors. But even if I want to work with them, it doesn't mean I can work with them. Yes. I just leave it to fate. If anything happen, if I think it's interesting, then why not? But I never planned, so I don't have any. But I love all the directors that I worked with before, because without any single one of them, I won't become who I am today.
And one more question. Do you think your relationship with plants and trees have changed since you filmed Silent Friend?
I changed my perspective towards plants after I studied plants. And before, I just treat them as plants. Yeah. But now I treat them as something like us humans, sentient beings. And because they have intelligence, and they know how to transmit information, share information, and they know how to react with the outside world. So when you can do that, that means you have consciousness. So you can react to the outside world. And because of this, and I don't believe in hierarchy anymore. You know, we humans used to be think we are on the top of the tree, and some other animals more stupid than us. It's under the tree, and then plants supposed to be at the base of the tree. But I don't believe that anymore. I believe everything are equal, and we should more aware and consider them when we decide to do something. Because I think this is one of the reasons why a lot of animals are extinct, and global warming, extreme weathers. This is because we are not having harmony with nature. Thank you.
So that's it. Thank you so much for listening to these interviews with Director Enyedi and the legend of cinema, Tony Leung. I am still reeling from that, recovering from that interview, and it happened like more than a month ago. But yeah, thank you to them, and thank you to Rainy Tao, Polly Chan from HKIFF, as well as Felix Tsang from Golden Scene for your help with this interview. If you enjoyed this episode, please rate and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts to help others discover the show. A great way to support us is to leave a review or comment on our episodes directly on Spotify. If you want to chat with us and other fans of Deep Cut, come join our Discord server where we talk about movies, TV, music, and share what we're up to. If you'd like to share a message with us or have business inquiries, feel free to drop us an email at hello@deepcutpod.com. We also have a Patreon if you'd like to support us with a monthly subscription. Thank you to all our Patreon supporters, and a very special thanks to our Patreon Deep Cut Pick supporter, Leah Lai. You can keep up with Deep Cut on Instagram and Letterboxd at Deep Cut Pod. Click the link in our description or go to deepcutpod.com to find links to everything we've mentioned here. Deep Cut is hosted and produced by us, Wilson Lai, Benjamin Yap, and Eli Sands. Our cover art is designed by Justina Yam, and our theme song is composed by the one and only Eli Sands. I'm Wilson. Take care, and we're looking forward to talking about more movies with you next time.